On July 31, 1975, President Ferdinand E. Marcos signed the Presidential Decree 757 establishing the National Housing Authority as the sole national agency for developing and implementing a comprehensive, integrated housing program which shall include housing development and resettlement, sources and schemes of financing, as well as delineation of government and private sector participation. As a corporation, the NHA is governed by the following members of the board: Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, Office of the President, Department of Finance, Department of Public Works and Highways, Department of Labor and Employment, National Economic and Development Authority, and Department of Trade and Industry. The board members are responsible for the formulation, prescription, promulgation, and approval of budgets, programs, and policies in the conduct of NHA targets and accomplishments. The board also exercises powers necessary or incidental to the attainment of the PD 757. Over the past 45 years, the NHA has built almost 2 million housing units. In its early years, the authority utilized slum upgrading, on-site development, and resettlement for various urban renewal projects to address the shelter needs of the bottom 30% of the income population. As of June 2021, the NHA has delivered some 336,493 housing units and assistance, and expected to generate closer to the 400,000 mark at the end of President Rodrigo Duterte's term. With the changing leadership and the continuous increase in the country's housing backlog, the authority has evolved and shifted its program delivery to include the housing needs of the following sectors: informal settler families, uniformed personnel and government employees, calamity survivor families, indigenous peoples, former rebels, and overseas Filipino workers. Among the authority's highlights during its beginnings was the improvement of Tondo Foreshore, known as one of the biggest slum colonies in Southeast Asia. The NHA also implemented the North and South Rail resettlement projects, where thousands of families were relocated to new communities where they enjoy basic amenities. Even though the magnitude of the housing needed after Typhoon Yolanda in 2013 was great, the authority was able to deliver 145,782 permanent shelters, with some turned over to the local government units of Masbate, Camarines Sur, Antique, Iloilo, Negros Occidental, Cebu, Tacloban City, Leyte, Southern Leyte, Samar, and Eastern Samar. It also sets up Marawi's 7 transitory sites with 4,202 units and 2 permanent sites with 1,500 housing units, while the NHA specializes in providing resilient homes in thriving communities. It also led to the unexploded ordnance clearing operations in the Marawi Ground Zero and developed the road infrastructures in the most affected area in the city. Through Batas Pambansa 220, the field of housing delivery has changed drastically. The law formalized technical structure designs and set the tone for socialized housing, which the authority strictly adheres to. Throughout the years, the NHA designed a variety of socialized housing units appropriate to different family needs, while revolutionizing its existing policies. This includes typhoon-resilient housing designs, which can withstand typhoon winds of 250 kilometers per hour, gender-sensitive housing designs, a housing unit with a ready-built partition fostering privacy between parents and their children, indigenous people-sensitive housing designs, a housing unit that incorporates the IP needs for space while utilizing local materials. In 2018 to 2019, the NHA bagged the Bronze Gantimpala Award for its gender and development-sensitive program delivery to its housing beneficiaries. In 2011, the national government, through Administrative Order No. 9, directed the NHA to formulate, implement, and manage a housing program for the military, police personnel, and government employees. With the uniformed personnel's clamor for improved housing units, the NHA, under the leadership of its present General Manager, Marcelino P. Escalada Jr., revitalized its service delivery, developed new designs, and relaunched the AFP-PNP housing program as the Government Employees Housing Program or GEP, or the Tahanan ng Kawani ng Bayan. With the GEP's stylish modern designs, today's housing units feature a 60 square meter unit in an 80 square meter lot. Ready for occupancy, families of uniformed personnel and government employees can now enjoy tailored homes in curated village. To date, there are more than 21,000 more such homes expected to rise nationwide. On June 7, 2021, during the celebration of the World Migrants Day, the NHA, together with the Department of Labor and Employment and the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, entered into an agreement and signed a Memorandum of Understanding for the new Overseas Filipino Workers Housing Program, dubbed as TAHANAN ng Bagong Bayani. The authority understands the family's finances might be tight, and so amortization schemes go through thorough review and evaluation. For row houses, NHA monthly collects as low as 200 pesos for the first 5 years. For in-city or near-city low-rise buildings, the amortization is nominally priced between 600 pesos to 1,000 pesos per month, depending on which floor. While the price of government employees' gap housing unit starts at 1.35 million pesos for a one-story duplex housing, 1.8 million pesos for a two-story duplex, and 1.9 million pesos for a condominium-type unit. These ready-for-move-in homes can be monthly amortized for 6,000 to 12,000 pesos. Furthermore, OFW housing program offers affordable designs. Two-story duplex, 80 square meter lot area with 60 square meter floor area for a monthly amortization of 10,000 to 12,000. For upcoming projects, single-story duplex, 100 square meter lot area with 50 square meter floor area for 5,000 to 8,000 per month, and row house, 40 square meter lot area with 26 square meter floor area amortized for 500 to 1,000 pesos per month. These are all payable in 30 years. But for Typhoon Yolanda calamity survivors who lost their homes, President Duterte considered their housing units as a full grant during his pronouncement at the Housing Summit held last February 8, 2017. This means that LGU-determined beneficiaries shall be provided with developed lots with housing units at no cost.
Malaking tulong na po sa amin yon kasi kahit malaki yung damage ng bahay namin, kahit kunti, nakatulong.
NHC po, wala kami masabi sa kanila dahil tulong suporta sila sa amin.
Bahay namin dito sa NHA na National Housing Authority na isa po talaga sila na tumutulong sa amin.
Po, lubos kami nagpapasalamat sa National Housing Authority. Dati dream house ko lang po to, pero ngayon it's a dream come true.
Annually, the NHA targets to build 50,000 housing units as its contribution in addressing the 3.6 million housing need of the country. This will not be possible without the strong support the authority receives from the local government units. Recognizing this, NHA General Manager Marcelino P. Escalada Jr. said, "We ask our local government partners to continue working with us in the implementation of sustainable housing projects, in providing opportunities for change, growth, and livelihood to our beneficiaries, in creating more prospects of investments, and in serving the homeless Filipinos." For the past 31 years, the average annual housing production of the country is only 128,407 housing units, with the housing backlog continuously rising from 6.5 million units from 2017 to 2022. It is projected to further grow to 22.6 million units by the end of 2040. At this rate, to address this housing backlog, the government must build annually until 2040 some 1,130,575 housing units. In spite of all the effort of the shelter agencies while working on a declining shelter budget over the years, the increasing demand for housing remained a challenge. To address this and to increase annual housing production as a large-scale program, the NHA proposes the following major legislations: the National Housing Development, Production and Financing Program Act. The NHDPFA aims to significantly reduce the country's 2040 projected housing backlog of 22.6 million units through the continuous funding support at least 50 billion pesos a year for all key shelter agencies. Under this proposal, NHA shall be provided 31.5 billion pesos annually for the following housing programs: Resettlement Program, government employees housing, settlements upgrading, housing for calamity victims, land banking. Through the NHDPFA, the scaling up of the NHA's housing delivery will push forward economic growth and progress in communities via strengthening of policies, promoting and supporting housing production component activities, and shelter financing through sustained funding. The second bill the authority proposes is its charter renewal, or the National Housing Authority Act. More than uplifting the housing paradigms, sheltering homeless Filipinos, and pushing for the approval of regular annual appropriations for the key shelter agencies, the NHA also seeks support for the passage of National Housing Authority Act. Under this new measure, the NHA will explore programs and services to include the utilization of existing properties for rental housing, expansion of the resettlement program to cover informal settler families in high-risk areas nationwide, not only in NCR, as well as deliver sustainable and innovative climate-resilient housing designs to mitigate environmental impacts which influences climate change. Along with this renewal, is the continuance of NHA support in the implementation of the following major build projects, such as the PNR South Long Haul projects, a 581-kilometer railway stretching from Manila to Legazpi, Matnog, and Batangas City. This will connect cities, international seaports, and economic zones, allowing for faster transportation of passengers and freight. And the infrastructure development for the NLEX 8.2 segment, an 8-kilometer elevated road between Manila to Caloocan. In both of the BBB projects, the NHA is responsible for organizing and providing the resettlement and relocation packages for the thousands of affected families. Its decades in housing provision spelled it all for NHA. NHA's expertise does not only lie in building homes, but also in empowering people, building communities, rebuilding war-torn and calamity-ravaged towns and municipalities. And its glory and the story of housing the Filipinos should continue. Special acknowledgement is extended to the NHA board members. The SUD Secretary Eduardo Del Rosario, Office of the President Executive Secretary Salvador Medjaldea, Department of Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez, DPWH Secretary Mark Villar, DOLE Secretary Silvestre Bello III, NEDA Secretary Carl Kendrick Chua, DDI Secretary Ramon M. Lopez, and NHA General Manager Marcelino P. Escalada Jr. As we embark on the next 50 years, the NHA is committed to constructing quality homes, building better lives.